everyone, it's Jocelyn Martin here with Be Your Best Personal Training, and this is going to be a monthly sharing that I've called The Coach is In. So this is my opportunity to share with you some knowledge that I've gained over the years with working with thousands of personal training clients, both in group settings, group programs, as well as one-on-one. And I think that knowledge should be shared with others. It shouldn't be just for those who can afford a personal trainer. So this is my way of sharing with you where you get to ask me specific questions. Every week we'll go over different topics, and if you have topics that you'd like to hear about, go ahead and share them in the comments, send me a private message or an email. Reach out and let me know what topics would interest you for future monthly meetings of The Coach is In. So let's go ahead and get started. You should all be able to see my screen. And tonight we're going to be talking about the 5 ways to keep your sanity during the holidays. And I started off with this one because, number one, it's December and it's the month of Christmas. And in working with clients, I hear over and over again during the month of December, I'm so overwhelmed. I have so much to do. I don't have a minute to breathe. And I feel as though I'm getting really angry and cranky and just like bah humbug with the entire holiday season. And I know myself as a busy mom, I often can feel the exact same way. So a few years ago, I kind of went searching for some ways that could work for me and for my clients to help us to really maintain our sanity during the holiday season and bring joy and hope and peace and love back into this holiday season, because that's really what it's all about. So I'm going to share with you my 5 most requested ways that work for the majority of my clients to maintain their sanity during the holiday season. And if you have questions, go ahead and ask them in the chat or comment below, and I will ask them as we go along. So the first is to perform a mind dump. I learned about this in reading a book called, and I'm going to pull it up here because I can never remember the full title, Ula, Find Balance in an Unbalanced World. And in that, and I'll put that in kind of the notes at the end as to a book that I refer to. So anybody who wants it can go ahead and grab a hold of that. It's a great way to, give somebody a gift suggestion. But it's performing a mind dump. And you can either do this first thing in the morning or at the end of the day. I personally prefer at the end of the day. But what you do is you get down on a piece of paper. You can use, my husband likes to use note cards. I like to use the note section of my phone. I know people that love passion planners or pocket planners and things like that. They love to keep their list in that. I even know people that just keep a notebook and just go ahead and renew that list every day and keep it in that notebook. But either first thing in the morning or the end of the day, write down everything that you need to do, not just for the next day, but anything that you need to do that is on your to-do list. So like, for instance, we need some siding fixed on our house. So that is on my to-do list. Anything that you come up with. That's why it's important that you have something that you can carry with you, because things are going to come up at the most random times during the day, and you're going to need to be able to add it to the list. So I like to focus on several key areas. And you learn this in the ULA book, but faith, family, fun, friends, field, finances, and I'm forgetting fitness. How could I forget the last one? Fitness. But those 7 key areas. And I look at what can I do in each of those key areas in order to better enhance my life. So usually each day I have something under one of those key areas, or I just have them listed so that way I know to kind of check in with myself. How am I doing in that area? Is there something that I need to revisit? Like, for instance, this morning, I needed to send off my check for my life insurance policy. Something pretty important, but something that we can sometimes overlook, but that was in my finance category. So carry it with you and then check off those things as you go. You'll be able to, at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day, prioritize the things that absolutely have to get done that day. So for instance, it could be a dentist appointment for my kids. It could be my workout that absolutely has to get done every day. It could be something that I have to do for my clients, has to get done that day. And then celebrate each accomplishment. That's something that we often don't do. We're really good at checking the list off as we go, but we don't often celebrate having checked something off. And you can do that in lots of different ways. For myself, I take a 5-minute break. That means I may go and randomly scroll through Facebook. It may mean that I will color in a coloring book, those like really nice, coloring books that they have now for adults. I might do an exercise. Sorry, I get a little bit of tickle. To refresh my brain and to keep my brain humming. Just going to get some water here. And to keep my brain humming. So it might be all different things that I do to celebrate having accomplished a task. But what that does is it keeps you going. So having gotten that brain dump out gets everything that you have to do out on paper, frees up the space in your day so that way, and in your mind, so that way you can focus on the task at hand and really get things done and get things accomplished. It really lowers your overall stress level. We like to think as women that we can multitask and do multi things at once, but studies have shown repeatedly again and again and again that multitasking actually slows the process down. So get all of that information out of your head, get it onto a piece of paper, and check it off so that way you can see what you've accomplished and what still needs to get done so that way you can continue to move ahead. Number 2, number one thing that I tell women when I am asked, what is the number one thing that I can do to lose weight? Get your sleep, get your Z's. Why? Because when you are tired, it is that much harder to make good choices. It's that much harder to say no to the double fudge sundae. It's that much harder to exercise and get moving. It's that much harder to stay focused and to be productive and to get things done in a timely manner. You'll end up making more mistakes. Ask any mother of small children, right? For those of us that are moms and have gone through that infant stage, how foggy your brain and your body feels when you are operating on just a few hours of sleep at night. Studies show that the average woman needs between 7 to 9 hours of sleep at night. And the reason for that being is because we actually need certain REM cycles in order to regulate our hormonal cycles. And the first half of the night, the first 4 hours that you're sleeping, are actually just helping to recharge and rejuvenate you from the processes that were done that day. The first 4 hours. The second 4 hours, if we think of the average being 8 hours of sleep between that 7 and 9 hour stretch that women are supposed to get, that second 4 hours is actually working on regulating your hormonal levels. Everything in your body is regulated by hormones. How dry your eyes are, whether or not how quickly your heart beats, how quickly you breathe, whether or not you store fat around the belly or in your hips. Everything within the human body is regulated by hormones and different hormones. So it takes a long time for your body to recognize that during those 4 hours of sleep, the different hormonal shifts and hormones that are in there. So during that second 4 hours of sleep, each different hormone is actually impacted and restored so that way your body can act optimally. So if all you're getting is 4 hours of sleep or 6 hours of sleep, you're actually missing some of the REM cycles that help to regulate your hormonal levels. And those impact everything. Plus, it's just really hard to function when you are not getting good sleep. So get your Z's. The next is something that was the hardest thing for me to implement, and is often the hardest thing for my clients to implement, and that is to schedule rest time. So if you think of any professional athlete, you think of any Olympic athlete, you think of even NASCAR racing, or taking your car into the shop. There are scheduled periods of maintenance, scheduled periods of rest that are mandatory in there in order for you to act at your best. I mean, heck, even in the Bible, it says that on the seventh day, God rested. There's a reason for that. Rest is really important. So whether it's taking 5 minutes, kind of like what I was talking about with that very first, with the brain dump and celebrating in between each task that you've achieved, whether it's 5 minutes or an entire day. I actually schedule now an entire day just for rest and relaxation and recharging. But your body actually needs that. You cannot go 24/7, 364 days a year, 24 hours a day. You cannot do it. You will start to get sick. You will start to get achy. You will start to develop foggy brain. All kinds of things will start to shut down within your body. So it's really important that you take a day of rest because you need to fill your tank back up. You need to rest your body and recharge it so that way you are ready to go the next day. It is amazing when you start to adopt this practice how much things change. I was not a believer at the beginning. But after slowly implementing this and literally starting with, 6 hours or an hour, and then slowly working up to an entire day, it's been amazing. And the most important thing is how my family responds, because I'm able to actually have time with them. When you're going 24/7 year round, you are missing out on so many things with your family. But this is time where I can actually focus on them, where we can play games, where we can do fun things. This past Sunday happens to be my rest day, but this past Sunday, we went Christmas tree shopping and we had so much fun because you can actually focus on each other rather than your to-do list and checking a box. So schedule in rest time, whether it's 5 minutes or a full day, schedule in some rest time. The next is using essential oils. So I actually have a diffuser going here. That's probably the fog that you see going across the screen every so often, because it's the end of the night and I could use some additional rest and relaxation to kind of calm my brain and calm my body as I start to settle in for my evening Z's. See, I follow the same process as you do, but it's using essential oils. Essential oils are actually shown in clinical trials to help to regulate our emotions and allow the body to settle into a period of rest and relaxation. And it's amazing what using essential oils can actually help us to do with that, by both inhaling them aromatically like I am in the diffuser, or by applying them topically to our bodies, or even ingesting them. So some of the ways that we can do that is Epsom salt baths. So the magnesium in Epsom salts is actually a vital nutrient that women tend to be deficient in. And by taking a bath in Epsom salts, your body can actually absorb the magnesium, which will help you to balance your hormones. Who knew, right? But adding essential oils to your Epsom salts can actually help to enhance the process by stimulating relaxation with different oils. So like, for instance, I like to use lavender in my bath, or sometimes a blend called Stress Away. And all it takes is a cup of Epsom salts added to a bath of water and a couple of drops of the essential oil of your choice. You can also diffuse them into a room. That's a great way in an office or in a car that you can get some of that rest and relaxation and recharging with your brain to be able to get through this really busy time of the year. The last way is to ingest them. I personally, lately, in order to get through that 3 o'clock period, have been doing a teaspoon of honey, a drop of lavender, a drop of peppermint, and then a drop of lemon, grapefruit, or another essential oil called copaiba. And what I love about it is the peppermint stimulates me and keeps me going when, it's the end of a long day, but you still have work that needs to get done, or kids that need caring to. The lavender kind of takes that edge off, just kind of allows my body to settle, which is awesome. And then the grapefruit, lemon, or copaiba just help to support my immune system. They help to kind of just provide that overall either detoxification or wellness that tends to fall away when we're in a really hyper rush stress state. So some of the oils that work really great are listed here: lavender, Stress Away, Tranquil, cedarwood, frankincense, orange, Valor, Valor 2, Peace and Calming 2, Aroma Easer, Joy. Those are some of the ones that best to kind of take that edge off and allow you to breathe again. And the great thing with breathing again is breathing actually helps to lower your body's natural stress signal. So when we're really stressed, we breathe up into our chest very quickly. When we are not stressed, think of how a baby breathes. You breathe through your belly, and it's at a much slower rate. So the only oils I use are Young Living's essential oils, and that's because they have the only essential oil line that's indicated for ingestion specifically. So I only use Young Living essential oils, and would not recommend that you just get any essential oil off the counter somewhere and ingest those, because you just don't know. You want to make sure it's real, pure, therapeutic grade essential oils. And then lastly, exercise. So exercise is something that can energize you. Believe it or not, exercise can be both a good stressor and a bad stressor. Who knew, right? But sometimes exercise can kind of be the straw that broke the camel's back. You have often heard referred to different injuries called stress injuries. There's things called stress fractures, IT band injuries, runner's knee, different injuries that come about as a response to a repeated action. Those are exercises that kind of at times can actually go the wrong way and be too much for the body to handle. So it's using exercise in a way that actually can energize you and lift you up. So sometimes that means pushing harder. Like I have those clients that need to get out of their head and need something that just has them going, so that way they can sweat, not have to think about anything, because thinking about they have too many things going on, and thinking about too many more things is just going to stress them out even more. So things like HIIT at that point, doing jumping jacks or burpees, any type of high intensity exercise. So think of any type of exercise video that you may watch that constantly has you moving. Those are the types of exercises that you'd want to do. Then you have the exact opposite, which is to slow things down, because life is going at warp speed right now. So using exercise in a way that is almost meditative. So you can do that with things like yoga or running and hiking, meditative breathing exercises. So instead of doing a squat really fast, do it very slow. Think of moving through an entire inhale as you bring your body up, an entire exhale as you lower your body into the squat. You can do the same thing with lunges. You can do the same thing with any type of strength training exercise. If you lower the tempo of that exercise and do it with your breath. So thinking of exhaling as you lower your arm for a bicep curl, and then inhaling and having that bicep curl last the entire exhale and the entire inhale. If you focus on the breathing, you will get a much different result than if you're kind of just banging out those reps. So those are 5 ways, really simple, that you can do in order to regain your sanity during this busy holiday season. None of these things take a lot of time. All of these things are very easy to do and can be done in 5 minutes. Now you can make some of them last longer, or you can keep them to 5 minutes. It is doing what works for you, but give them a try. I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt that all of these exercises have helped my clients. They have helped them to regain their sanity during any busy time that they may have had during their life. So I hope that you enjoyed that little piece here, and I will see here in the chat if we have any questions. No, it seems like everybody's good, which is wonderful. All right. So we will leave things there. I will put this on video for you so that you can watch it at your leisure. And please go ahead and share in the chat or comment below with different topics that you would like to see. What would you like to see in future episodes of The Coaches In? What questions do you have that I can help to answer for you? And lastly, what of these 5 tips helped you the most? Are you going to try right now, today, tomorrow, in order to start bringing your sanity back during this busy holiday season?